Gusto mo rin bang mag-solo living dito sa Pinas? Pero bago ka maghanap ng apartment, maybe you should ask yourself, kaya mo ba talagang mabuhay mag-isa dito without going broke after 2 months? Kasi honestly, solo living sounds very ideal. Like finally, meron ka ng freedom, sarili mong space, walang magdidikta sa'yo. But then, reality hits. Rent, bills, groceries, delivery fees, utilities, biglang parang lahat may bayad. And I'm not saying this to scare you. I am saying this because a lot of people jump into solo living without really preparing financially. So in this video, let me share with you some practical tips for solo living. Not just how to survive, but how to actually save money while doing it. Without further ado, let's get started. Tip number 1 is to assess if you can really afford it. Because the last thing that we want to happen is hindi natin matapos yung kontrata. Dahil kapag nagbasa ka ng kontrata, madalas naka-indicate dyan na kapag hindi mo natapos yung lease term mo, there's a possibility na hindi nila ibalik sa'yo yung deposit mo at saka advance. And let's say 10,000 pesos yung rent mo dun sa unit na yon per month. Yung first 10,000 pesos na binigay mo is for your deposit and another 20,000 para sa advance. Ibig sabihin, yung 30,000 pesos na yon, hindi mo na siya makukuha ulit. So, malaking gastos siya. So, before anything else, bago ka maghanap ng apartment, bago ka mag-research online, run the numbers first. Let's have a proper computation. So, itong breakdown na to, average lang siya guys ha. Siyempre, depende pa to sa kung anong klaseng lifestyle meron ka. Let's say your take-home pay is 30,000 pesos per month. Malinis na yon, wala ng VAT or kahit ano pang deductions. Now, i-breakdown natin siya sa solo living terms dito sa Maynila. First is for your rent. Kung magre-rent ka ng small studio apartment or 1 bedroom, it will probably cost you around 12,000 pesos. Next, utilities including electricity, water, internet, 3,500 pesos. Food and groceries, depende pa kung mahilig ka kumain sa labas, around 8,000 pesos. For transportation, let's say around 3,000 pesos. Phone subscriptions, 1,000 pesos. Emergency or savings, 5,000 pesos. And lastly is miscellaneous para sa laundry mo, delivery, small expenses, 3,000 pesos. Basically, kung ganito yung gastusin mo on a monthly basis, medyo mag-over budget ka na. As a rule of thumb, your total living expenses should only be about 60 to 70% of your income. So, if you earn 35,000 pesos, ang ideal budget mo dapat sa lifestyle mo is 21,000 pesos to 24,500. The rest goes to your savings, emergencies, and breathing room. Before you move out, ask yourself kung may enough space ka ba para sa basic needs mo to save, to breathe. Kasi ayaw naman natin na yes, naka-solo living nga tayo, pero sobrang gipit naman natin na hindi na natin ma-enjoy yung pera natin at worse, hindi pa tayo makapag-invest para sa future. Kasi kung ipipilit natin siyang gawin tapos hindi pa pala natin kaya financially, baka hindi independence yung makuha natin, kundi financial stress. Next is to set a strict budget range before you even look. Before ka mag-research, before ka mag-viewing, iset mo muna yung budget range mo. Kasi mas madali mag-narrow down ng options kapag alam mo kung kaya ng budget mo. Kapag nag-start ka kasi na mag-browse agad ng listings or mag-viewing nang hindi mo alam yung budget range mo, ang daling magkaroon ng budget creep. Kasi for example, ang budget lang talaga is 10,000 pesos. Yun lang yung kaya ng monthly salary mo. Pero since may nakita ka na apartment na 15,000 pesos, medyo may kamahalan pero ang ganda, then pipiliin mo siya kahit na hindi yun yung budget mo. So mas okay na after mo mag-run ng numbers mo, mag-set ka ng budget na kaya mo talaga para hindi ka mapilitan na kumuha ng apartment na hindi mo naman pala kaya bayaran on a monthly basis. Next is to know your non-negotiables versus nice-to-haves. This is where a lot of people mess up kasi kailangan mo muna tanongin yung sarili mo, what do I need versus what do I want? For example, ang pinaka-need naman talaga natin is meron tayong livable space, maganda yung water supply, at maayos ang security. Now, when it comes to our wants, gusto natin na Instagrammable yung kitchen, maganda yung lighting, at may city view. You have to keep in mind na kapag magre-rent ka, lalo na if you're on a budget, you are renting for your real life, not your Instagram or your Pinterest. Next is to be picky with your agents. Kung mahusap ka ng 3 o 4 na agent, okay lang yan. Alamin mo kung sino sa kanila yung palagay ka talaga at maayos kausap. Minsan kasi may mga agents na sa umpisa okay sila kausap kapag hindi pa nila nasisil yung deal, kapag hindi pa nila nasisecure yung deposit mo or yung advance mo. Pero the moment maglapag ka ng pera, medyo nag-iiba yung tono. So you have to make sure na maayos yung kausap mo, hindi lang sa beginning part ng lease term mo. Para if ever magkaroon ka ng problema in the future, say may problema yung unit, madali sila kausap. Hindi yung magre-reserve tayo agad dun sa isang agent parang na nakausap natin. So if you feel uncomfortable kung may mga red flags, trust your instincts. Huwag ka mag-reserve agad. A good agent should answer your questions clearly and maiintindihan nila if you don't rush into a decision. Next is to go for semi-furnished units. Kasi sa umpisa, fully furnished sounds convenient, pero kadalasan mas mahal sila. Kapag bare unit naman, yes, you have the flexibility to design it. Pwede mong dalhin yung mga gamit mo from your old apartment. Pero ibig sabihin din nun, mas magastos ka. So for me, ang middle ground lagi is semi-furnished. Kasi kung yung unit mo meron na siyang fridge, meron na siyang bed, meron na siyang washing machine, ibig sabihin, livable space na siya. Hindi mo kailangan mag-haul agad or gumastos agad sa furniture bago ka mag-move in. And then, eventually, nasa iyo na yung flexibility kung gusto mo ba siyang i-fully furnish. Pero at least, wala pa yung added pressure na kailangan ko gumastos para sa kama, kailangan ko gumastos para sa fridge or washing machine. So at least, kapag available na to mga basic needs mo na to sa unit mo, hindi mo na kailangan gumastos. Kahit dun sa first month man lang, nung paglipat mo dun sa apartment. In short, you can slowly build your space without spending a lot of money upfront. Next is to negotiate your rent. A lot of Filipinos don't do this kasi nahihiya sila. Karamihan naman sa mga landlord, karamihan naman sa mga agents, sanay na sila sa negotiation. Alam na nila na magne-negotiate ka, so gawin mo na lang. Kasi malay mo naman, mas makuha mo na mas maganda yung space na rerentahan mo. This is especially important kapag long-term stay ka, matagal nang walang renter yung unit, or off-peak season. Minsan kahit magtanong ka lang na, mayroon po bang discounted rate para sa long-term lease? This simple question can save you thousands per year. Wala namang mawawala sa'yo if you try. Kasi again, itong mga kausap mo, sanay sila na nagne-negotiate yung renter. Also, kapag nag-review ka ng unit, take note of the things dun sa apartment na pwede mong gamitin para sa negotiation. For example, ang promise sa'yo ng agent is semi-furnished, pero wala pa namang washing machine or wala pa namang fridge yung unit. So, pwede mong gamitin yun na pwede po bang magpa-add ng washing machine, or kung meron ka na, pwede po bang i-lessen yung rent ko kasi wala naman pong washing machine yung unit, or medyo may sira po yung cabinet so kailangan ko pa ipaayos. Yung mga ganong maliliit na bagay, pwede mo siyang gamitin to your advantage. Next is buffer. Always prepare a buffer for unexpected costs. This is very important. Hindi ibig sabihin na naran mo na yung numbers, strictly yun na yung gastos mo every month. Meron laging unexpected costs. Kasi bukod dun sa deposit mo in advance, meron laging hidden expenses. And minsan, hindi mo talaga siya may-expect na sabihin sa'yo ng agent. You have to do your own research and you have to be prepared sa mga bagay na to financially. May mga move-in fee, repair, extra bills, cleaning ng AC. So don't use all your money dun sa initial payments. Yung sasabihin mo na lahat ng pera mo itutulak mo dun sa advance at saka deposit. So ideally, meron ka dapat at least extra 1 month expenses saved. Next is to read the contract. I know na minsan kapag sobrang excited natin mag-move in, wala na tayong pakialam dun sa terms. Basta na lang tayo pumipirma para makalipat na tayo agad. Pero yung mga contracts kasi, meron yung mga sneaky clause na dapat aware ka. Ito yung mga kailangan na i-check mo sa kontrata mo. How many months yung lock-in? What happens if you move out early? As I mentioned earlier, pwedeng hindi mo na makuha yung deposit or advance mo. Next, sino ang sasagot sa repairs kapag may kailangan ayusin sa bahay? Are there admin or move-out fees? And kung nasagot na itong mga to, tapos meron pa ring vague dun sa kontrata, don't be scared to ask. Tanungin mo yung agent. Kasi minsan, renters lose a lot of money dahil ang hindi sila nagbasa ng contract eh. Also, take photos or videos of the units before you move in. Lahat ng sulok at siwang ng bahay, lahat ng appliances, lahat ng corner, para ma-make sure natin na wala ipapakover sa'yo na kailangan ayusin bago ka umalis ng unit kapag time na na-end yung contract. Next is to evaluate the amenities realistically. Merong pool, yes. Merong gym, yes. Pero ask yourself, magagamit mo ba talaga sila? Kasi kung ang sagot mo, oo, then that's of good value sa'yo. Pero kung hindi, magbabayad ka ng maintenance para sa mga amenities na hindi mo naman talaga kailangan. And that's something that you need to consider kasi additional cost yon para sa'yo. Aside from these amenities, security is also non-negotiable. This includes both unit security and yung pinaka-building. This is another non-negotiable, especially if solo living ka tapos babae ka. Importante na ma-check mo lahat ng to. Guards, CCTV, locks, intercom system. You also want to check the neighborhood. Okay ba siya even at night? Kasi minsan, di ba, okay siya sa umaga, pero sa gabi, wait lang. Parang sketchy yung lugar. Next is location. This is huge when it comes to savings. Kasi kung magiging strategic ka kung saan ka titira, malaki yung matitipid mo when it comes to transportation. Kasi kung malapit yung bahay mo sa groceries, banks, sa work mo, at saka sa laundry, then malaking matitipid mo sa pamasahe. or sa gas. And personally speaking, ito yung isa sa mga perks na nagustuhan ko talaga dito sa lugar namin kasi ang lapit na lahat, walking distance lang. And for someone na mahilig maglakad, beneficial siya for me. Minsan, slightly higher rent is cheaper overall kasi you spend less daily. If you're planning to move out anytime soon, tas may mga tanong ka pa about solo living in Manila, let me know in the comments and I will try to help you as soon as I can. Or maybe yung ibang members ng community natin can also help you. And if you want more videos similar to this one, I have more in my channel. You can start by watching this video. That's it for today. Ciao!